Denise, I just kind of cracked up when I heard the name. I just love the name Bun Mee. Where did you come up with that?
Well, I love puns and bun mi is the Vietnamese word for bread.
Okay.
And at the time that we launched our company and I launched this brand, what was frustrating to me back then, and this is just imagine this is back in 2010, so about 15 years ago. People couldn't pronounce banh mi properly. And that was so frustrating to me. They would say
Hmm.
banh mi because it's spelled Banh and there's a silent H. And
Okay.
it would be like this banh mi and I was like, no, like this is, you're saying it wrong. And so I just thought, it's going to be an educational lesson here. Call it banh mi, how it's supposed to sound. And it's a perfect pun also. And it's cute and it's fun to say and it's memorable and it rolls off the tongue. So that was just an immediate like, aha, like this serves its purpose to teach people. And it's a fun thing to say.
It is. All right. So banh mi is Vietnamese fast casual. Best way to describe your business?
Gourmet.
Gourmet. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So why don't you tell the audience, tell us about how this whole thing started?
Right. So the context is we're back in 2009.
Mhm.
I'm living in New York City. I had a major life moment. My father had just passed away. I'm very close to him. I'm 30 years old at the time, and I was practicing law. And I had one of those moments where I'm like, Dad just passed away. This is major. Life is short. Am I doing what I love? Am I filling my purpose? Is this really what, is this what life is all about? Like I'm an
Mhm.
immigrant, came
Mhm.
here when I was very young, a baby from Vietnam. And, as an immigrant story, you just success meant be a doctor or a lawyer, you just make it, like making it was that. And so I did all the things I was supposed to do up until that point, but doing it for other people. For my parents, for others, and not for me.
Mhm.
So my dad's passing was just that moment for me that really crystallized for me. Am I living my purpose? And so I wanted to stop and take a moment, figure out what I really wanted to do, curate my life. I had just gotten his last wish for me was to take his ashes back to Vietnam. So I go on this journey for 2 weeks back to Vietnam, and unbeknownst to me, not thinking I'm going to open a restaurant by any means, I was just wanting to reconnect to a country that my father loved, but I didn't know and I didn't have a connection with it. I felt very American. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to go on this trip solo and really discover the country my father loved and fought for and wanted to die there and bring his ashes back. And so I did this solo journey from Ho Chi Minh to Hanoi. And along the way, when you travel solo, you have a lot of moments to yourself. And I would eat at these street stalls along the way. And the street food culture in Vietnam is bustling and vibrant and so interesting. And I would sit there and I would have the most amazing noodle bowl or, like rice noodle dishes and banh mi dishes and all these such interesting food items that I had
Mhm.
never had in the US. And I would tell these vendors, I was like, can you just close your shop for one day? I will pay whatever it costs that you would be selling. It was usually like
Mhm.
$50 or, whatever. And I'd be like, I just want to hear your stories. And I just wanted to connect. So they would, and a lot of them are women and no one cared about their story, they were kind of the bottom of the totem pole in terms of food vending and being in the food world, right? This was street food, the most
Right.
pedestrian food. And so I think for them, many of them really liked that someone cared. And so anyway, I just had these moments where I was hearing stories, learning these traditions and learning about recipes and just kind of letting that all sink in for me in a way that was more about connecting than anything else. So I go back to New York. I'm living in New York and I'm like, I don't want to practice law. Like, this is not what I want to do. It's not my passion. And so I have this, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. And I had this very light bulb moment. I'm at a porchetta sandwich shop in the Village, very artisan. That's all they did. I go into this shop. I'm engaged at this point to my fiance. And I'm like, he knew I was looking for something else,
Okay.
I'm in this shop. I have this light bulb moment. It's as if the universe, God, whatever you call it, just opened a portal to my future and said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do this for Vietnamese sandwiches. And if you don't know, Vietnamese sandwich is like our hamburger, right?
Okay.
It is like fast food. It's like our hamburger. People stroll up in a scooter, grab it to go, eat it on the go. It's portable. It's our hamburger. And I'm like, why is this not on every corner? Like, this is so good. Like, it's the only Asian sandwich in the format that we Americans know, because it's like, there's no Asian sandwich that exists. We have buns, but there's no Asian sandwich. Vietnam had a sandwich because it was the French that brought the baguettes, and they had this perfect fusion item that was just not explored at the time. So at this moment, you're thinking like, it's like, you got to go find it. People couldn't even pronounce it. It was very mom and pop, very fragmented. You got to go to Chinatown, Saigon, town, whatever. It wasn't, and it wasn't customer service oriented, and it wasn't gourmet. It wasn't chef driven. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't branded. There's just so many things it wasn't at the time.
Right. It was just crazy.
It's crazy. And I'm like, why is there no one doing it in the way that like I think would be so great? And I think it's the perfect crossover food item, ethnic food item, right? Americans love sandwiches. It's like, it just didn't have a niche of its own or an identity.
Right.
And so for me, the portal that I was seeing was, Denise, you're going to do this. You're going to leave law and you're going to bring this and make it accessible to mainstream America in the way that you're envisioning. And so that was my purpose. And I just got it that day. And it was crazy because I called my best friend and I'm like, I leave this restaurant. I call my best friend. I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to open a bun mee shop. And she's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? You're not a chef. You have no restaurant experience. You are a lawyer, like, where do you even start? Where do you even begin? Like, this is not, so I just I knew it in my gut. I just knew this is what I meant to do. And that's how it all started.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.